topic for my policy speech is school uniform policies. This is an example of the dress code from the school that I used to go to. We had to wear khaki shorts and polo shirts like this that had to either be red, white, or navy blue. By opposing school uniform policies, we can decrease the money that parents have to spend during the back-to-school shopping season and enable self-expression and individuality among students. Have you ever showed up somewhere and you were wearing the same thing as someone else? Or in some way that you're matching? Isn't it annoying? You spend your time and take your time to get ready just to show up and someone else is wearing the exact same thing as you. That's how it feels every day to wear uniforms. You have no choice but to dress exactly like everyone else at your school. Everyone has to all wear the same clothes and you just don't feel like that you can be yourself. I had to wear uniforms throughout elementary, middle, and high school. The many years of wearing school uniforms has led me to form a strong opinion towards them. From my years of personal experience, I would like to convince you as to why you should oppose school uniform policies in schools. With bans like these in place, students are able to go to school for 8 hours without having to worry about the discomfort of wearing uniforms. This discrimination will allow students to show their own individuality instead of feeling conformed to the other hundreds of students around them. You may be thinking that uniforms are a good and helpful thing because children tend to feel left out whenever they can't afford a certain type of clothing, and by implementing school uniform policies, this will help because everyone will all wear the same thing. But in reality, the reality is that there are even certain types of brands that are more popular for uniforms. Khaki uniform pants and shorts or polo shirts are even sold at more high-end stores, while they can also be sold and found for cheaper prices at dollar stores and Walmart. So even by making everyone wear the same thing, the issue of inferiority and bullying still will not be resolved by uniforms. By opposing uniform policies in schools, we can help with all of the different kinds of issues that come with wearing uniforms. This is why today I would like to discuss 3 main points with you. The first I would like to discuss is some misconceptions people have about school uniforms. Secondly, I would like to talk about the disadvantages of wearing school uniforms. And lastly, I would like to discuss the existing uniform policy from the public school that I attended and why we should oppose it. Let's begin with some false impressions that people have towards school uniforms. Uniforms can be subject to different schools. Some schools may require them while others do not. And from the outside looking in, school uniforms seem like a good idea, or maybe they don't. There's a good bit of misinterpretation about school uniforms, however. According to education.alot.com, people tend to believe that school uniforms will solve discipline problems. However, this is not true. Whenever a child is prone to getting in trouble, whatever they wear to school will not stop that from happening. And to be honest, when you put these policies in place, it really gives students more ways to break the rules and eventually get in even more trouble. Another misconception about dealing with uniforms is that it somehow creates a sense of school pride. This is also false because it actually creates a division between the students and the teachers. While the teachers are trying to enforce these rules, a good bit of students don't want to conform and abide by the dress code. School pride cannot be measured by what everyone is wearing, but rather it could be easier to have some type of unity by respecting everyone's differences instead of forcing everyone to be the same. According to theolympian.com, people believe that uniforms prevent bullying. This is also false. People assume just because everyone is wearing the same thing that nobody can make fun of anybody because of their clothes. As I've stated before, this is not always the case. But not even just that, a school uniform does not change a person. Bullies will be bullies, so instead of parents wanting school uniforms, they should actually be teaching their kids to be nice to others in the first place. It is just as likely to get bullied while you're wearing a school uniform as it is as if you were wearing regular clothes. Uniforms have no correlation to bullying. And now that you know more about school uniforms and some misconceptions, I would like to inform you of a few disadvantages of wearing school uniforms. Liveout.com says that one reason school uniforms are a bad idea is their comfort factor. School uniforms can be uncomfortable. Children and all people in general tend to be particular about their clothing and how it fits, and they can be sensitive towards certain things whenever it comes to their clothes, which can make getting ready and going to school a challenge. There is no uniform that can suit all people. A second disadvantage of school uniforms are the initial cost. Unlike schools with no specific uniform policies, parents really do not have any control over how much money that they spend on their children's clothes, especially for school. Parents not only have to go out and buy their children clothes for everyday wear outside of school, but they also have to buy a whole nother set of clothes just for school because they have to wear uniforms. Along with the discomfort and cost of uniforms, they can promote conformity. It forces students to all dress alike instead of allowing them to express themselves. So now that we have gone over misconceptions and disadvantages to school uniforms, I would like to give you a little more information on why we need to oppose these policies in schools. According to the Lawrence County School District Student Handbook, found on lawrence.k12.ms.us, the dress code policy includes things such as red, white, or navy blue polo shirts and khaki bottoms for pants. Shorts and skirts must be knee-length or longer. No open-toed shoes, they all must be closed-toed, closed-heel. Hoodies are not allowed unless they are school-sponsored, which they still have to be a sweatshirt with no hood. All logos and jackets of any kind for all jackets have to be approved. Now I want to ask, what do any of these approved school dress code policies have to do with learning? After wearing uniforms all throughout school and now that I am in college and where everyone wears their own regular clothes every day, I realize that I do just as good in school now as I ever did wearing a uniform all day. Personally, I do not like being told what I can and can't wear every single day. So now that I have the freedom to wear open-toed shoes to class, I can personally say that wearing sandals to class never hindered my learning abilities. In conclusion, I would like to make a few more statements. Just because people have preconceived notions on why they think that uniforms are such a good and helpful thing, students should not have to be conformed to an uncomfortable standard of clothing in order to go to school and learn. I understand all schools need rules, and by opposing school uniforms, I do not believe that schools should have no standards for clothing at all. I totally believe that students should have to be dressed appropriately and modest. I just don't believe in schools having policies for everyone wearing the same clothes. By opposing school uniform policies, students can feel more comfortable and confident in their own clothes rather than being told by the school exactly what they have to wear.